That dog looks dead.
Yes.
In your film, is the dog dead?
Yes.
When does the dog die and how?
The dog in the opening of the film is found by the officer on the street.
Dead.
Not grotesque and horrific, but
dead
yes.
or alive?
Dead.
This is the plaintiff, Joseph Huertas. He says he's a film director and hired the defendant, a so-called special effects expert, to build him a prop dead dog. The dog was central to the plot of the film, and after shooting with it for a while, it got damaged and needed some repairs. The guy took it back, worked on it, and when he returned, it looked like an entirely different dog. The guy isn't returning his calls, and now he has to hire someone else to build him a completely new dog that matches the other, which is delaying his filming. He's suing for $5,000, the amount he's out. This is the defendant, Anthony Pepe. He says he's been doing special effects for horror movies for 11 years, and like most directors, the plaintiff had no idea of the complexities of building a dog like this. The plaintiff came to him after filming the dog and told him he wanted it cleaned up, repaired, and put on a stand so he could keep it as a souvenir of sorts. When he got the thing, it looked like it had been dragged around the streets. It was barely recognizable. He repaired it to the best of his ability and can't believe the crazy guy is wasting his time with this stupid lawsuit. He's accused of barking up the wrong tree.
All parties, please raise your right hands.
Everybody's talking about the Honorable Marilyn Milian, the hottest judge on television. Real cases, real litigants. Here in our forum, the People's Court.
Be seated and come to order, please. Litigants have been sworn.
Thank you, Douglas. Okay, Mr. Huertas, you are suing Anthony Pepe for $5,500 that you say you are out. Of course, the statutory maximum is only $5,000 for a dog that he made for you for a movie that you say you should get every penny you invested in it back now. Even I don't understand what I just said. So I need you to elucidate me. Tell me what's going on.
Well, I'm making my first feature film. I'm an art therapist, social worker, and I'm doing a film on child abuse.
Say it again?
I'm a social worker and art therapist. And I'm making my first feature film based upon child abuse, particularly issues revolving abuse recently with Nix Mary Brown and other similar cases. So the dog in the film is a sort of a symbol, a metaphor for the abuse that the child, the protagonist of the film, Miranda, had endured with her alcoholic mother.
Okay. Are you the alcoholic mother or are you the real mother?
That's her real mother.
Okay. All right, so this is the actress in your film?
Yes.
How old is Miranda? How old, 11?
Mm-hmm. Her name's Jade in the film. So the dog is a metaphor for abuse and the terrible trauma the child endured, yet the dog was never to appear as a Freddy Krueger type horror film dog, if not just a German Shepherd that could still hopefully even get like a PG. I would strive for a rating that children and teenagers could see this film socially.
But what happens to the dog in the film?
Yeah, well, what happened with the...
Because his performance right here is a little wooden.
Yes, that's correct. Now, what it is in the film, there's a police officer, and the officer's partner, he's a canine cop, is Butch.
Okay, that's Butch.
Butch, in the opening of the film, the officer finds Butch on the side of the street and becomes his partner, okay? And together they investigate these missing children.
That dog looks dead.
Yes.
In your film, is the dog dead?
Yes.
When does the dog die and how?
The dog in the opening of the film is found by the officer on the street.
Dead.
Not grotesque and horrific, but
dead
yes.
or alive?
Dead.
And the officer then makes him his partner when he's dead?
Yes. That's the humor.
No wonder he can't solve anything.
That's correct.
Okay.
That's right.
Gotcha. So there is never a live German Shepherd in the flick. It's always the dog.
The dog is dead, and yes.
So when you hired the defendant in order to create this dog, the idea was that he was going to create a dog that was dead.
Yes.
Right? All right. Now, did you give him any specifics before you hired him about what you wanted it to look like or anything?
Yes. Well, I want to say that Mr. Pepe did an excellent job in my opinion, with the work he did.
Okay.
My reasons for coming here is everything that happened on our second episode.
If you're saying he did an excellent job, then why are
Yes.
you suing for the original amount you paid him for the original job that he did that was so excellent?
I'll tell you why. Because all continuity is lost for this $30,000 production, because when I brought him to do some tidy-ups on the dog, there were some problems with the dog. One is the tongue. There was some things. This is the second tongue he had made.
All right, wait. Let's slow down. You use the dog. You're
Yes.
happy with his work originally. You use the dog in the film. But then during the film process, the dog starts to get a little battered up because he's being used up in the film and being taken around.
I was happy with the look of the dog.
Okay, but not the what?
Visually, not the way it was put together. It was falling apart.
Well, then why'd you pay him?
Why did I pay him for the
Yes,
dog?
why did you pay him if you weren't happy?
It was built poorly. I learned after I paid the money and I started working, shooting the dog, I noticed that the hair was coming apart, that the tongue was falling off. That was after I made my payment
You
and
don't think
got my
that's
receipt.
just the dog being used and abused during the flick?
No, because
What happens with the dog during the movie?
he's just carried around by a police officer. I have footage also of the dog riding on the bicycle
Let me
with
see.
the
You want to show the footage?
Yes.
Let's see.
Supervisor of the caseworkers did what we think was appropriate, said, go and get a warrant.
A warrant that was never secured.
City officials have long struggled to coordinate the police department and child welfare, two agencies that operate quite
Thank you.
differently, but often
Okay, now, during that time you used the dog for the movie, right? Well, okay. Well, that's all right.
Sorry. Yes.
No animals were hurt in the making of this film. All right. During that time you used the dog in the movie, correct?
A few times, yes.
Okay. And when you hired him to make the dog, how long did it take him to make the dog?
I don't recall. It was a short amount of time.
Normally, how long would it take to make a dog like this?
3 weeks.
3 weeks. How much time were you given to make the dog?
1 week.
Okay. And why did you accept that job if it was such a rush job and it would make it a lot more difficult for you?
It wasn't that it was a rush job for me. It was just that it was a very interesting project. I wanted to build the German Shepherd. I really liked the script. I liked the storyline he was making.
Tell me what you do for a living exactly.
I'm a special effects makeup artist.
Okay. And have you ever built a dog like that before?
Yes.
What kind of movies do you work on?
Mostly, I work on comedy, drama, horror. I work on pretty much all genre. Any
How long
kind
have
of
you been
character.
doing
make-
this?
11 years.
Okay. And you have made dogs in the past?
Yes,
Have
I
you
had
ever
to
made a
do
German
I had to do a severed dog head for a movie in California once. You know,
Oh, lovely.
things like that.
All right. So, so you liked the project. You wanted to be.
I mean, it was a perfect time. I mean, the money was good.
The money was good.
I could bang it
All
out
right,
in a week.
So now a year passes, everything is fine, and you don't hear from him in a year, correct?
I heard from him, I think it was about 9 or 10 months after the fact. He'd hired me to build a second prop.
Oh, okay.
He'd hired me to build a copy of the actor, the cop that you saw in the footage.
Okay.
And basically, he was supposed to light him on fire. He was supposed to spontaneously combust.
Okay.
Now,
I hate when that happens.
I'm not a pyrotechnician, so I don't deal with fire and any kind of explosive effects. I
Did
gave
you
him the body
light
prop.
the image on fire?
Everything he's saying, I don't understand where he's coming up with this, but he does spontaneously combust the character at the
Did you
end.
co- so
And
did
it
you
was a great job.
combust the character?
It looks amazing, yes.
This dog don't hunt. Did the defendant botch the job on the faux German Shepherd? The testimony continues.
He took the dog in my apartment, he went like this and shoved it in the pipe of the stand, and went like that, and he left. And he left. He said the students had a wonderful
Where were
time.
you when he was shoving
Like
the
shocked,
dog?
and then he ran into the elevator. I have
You
testimony.
were paralyzed by shock?
Yes.
The plaintiff was making a movie deal that required a dead dog. The movie was going okay until the plaintiff took the dog to the defendant for some work, and it didn't go so well. Let's listen.
So you did, in fact, hire him. And before contract number 1 that you had with him and contract number 2 for the repair, you hired him for something else. So obviously you were happy with his first job.
Exactly.
All right, now, after a year, and the dog has obviously, I mean, like any actor would be tired after a year of work, the dog needs a little sprucing up. And among the sprucing up, the dog is missing the tongue. You held up a tongue a minute ago, right? The old tongue.
Yes.
Had the old tongue come out?
Well, when I brought him in for the touch-ups and for a stand to be made, a taxidermy stand, he asked me to deliver it to he's teaching special effects. And when I did, that's where everything took place, because he would never return. I have evidence of the dodging of phone calls.
Well, tell me first what happened. before
Email.
you-
What happened was he had me bring it to the. Long story short, he had me bring it to his special effects school. He used it as a special effects project.
How do you know he used it
Because
as
he
a-
told me this when he brought it to me, that he said they airbrushed it. His students airbrushed it, and it was a great project. They loved Butch, and by what I see, he sprayed all over the teeth. it looks like someone just airbrushed all over the dog. I immediately...
How much, when, in this second contract you have with him,
Yes.
where you say to him, the dog needs sprucing up.
Yes.
How much do you agree to pay him for that job?
I paid him $380.
And in terms of the stand, what kind of a stand did he provide? Is there a problem with that?
He gave me a piece of plywood. This is an illustrator drawing with a
Why didn't you
stick
just
in the
bring me the
middle.
stand?
It gets better.
Why didn't you just bring me the stand?
Because the stand broke right when
Why
he
didn't
left.
you bring me the broken stand?
Well, I brought you what
that
is
would
this?
be better for you.
This is the stand. He took the dog in my apartment. See the hole? He went like this and shoved it in the pipe of the stand, and went like that. And he left. And he left. He said the students had a wonderful
Where were
time
you
with it.
when he was shoving
Like
the dog?
shocked. And then he ran into the elevator. I have testimony.
You were paralyzed by shock? I don't understand.
Actually,
he comes in. Wait a minute. He comes
yeah.
in with the dog in one hand, the stand in the other.
Yes.
And it's not what you wanted?
At all.
What did you want?
I wanted my dog to look like.
No, I'm not
My
talking about how
dog.
the dog looks. We'll get to that in 1 second.
Okay.
I'm talking about the stand part. What
Yes.
did you want?
I wanted a taxidermy stand. I immediately said,
What does that mean? I don't taxidermy my pets.
I'm
I
sorry.
don't know.
Okay, it means being able to have this dog placed on some type of pedestal material.
That's not connected to the dog.
Correct.
So when
Correct.
you saw him come in with something that was obviously just a stick,
Yes.
was that not like a pretty major clue that that stick was going to be pierced into the dog?
No, I didn't know.
wasn't.
I didn't know. Maybe
You
there's
thought
more
the dog would
parts
balance
to
on
it.
the stick. All right, but
Yes.
then when he picks up the dog and goes like this in order to shove it
Yes.
in there, which is how you describe it,
Yes.
do you say, stop, what are you doing? No, no. Why didn't you?
I never expected that from him.
But then you expected it when it walked into your apartment.
I expected to be cheated that day.
Then you thought about it and decided, I won't be cheated.
I needed my dog back for my film, and because of that, I'm
Now
willing.
tell me about that. Your film was not done?
That's correct. It's not done.
Then why, pray tell, were you putting it on a stand?
Because that's part of the film, to be on a pedestal, and I wanted it for memorabilia to keep, for memorabilia. I wanted to keep the
We're
dog.
mixing two different concepts. I understand you wanted it for memorabilia.
Yes.
Okay, but you're claiming that you wanted it still for the film.
Sure, yes.
And you're not just saying that because you're trying to get the original cost back, right?
Of course not.
Okay, because that's what it sounds like if you've hired a guy to put it on a stand already.
Mhm.
It sounds like the film is done.
Mm-hmm.
Okay?
Well, that's what-
Miranda, come on up, honey.
Very good.
How you doing?
Good.
How old are you?
I'm 11.
And is this your first film?
Yes.
Did you enjoy it?
Of course.
Do you want to be an actress?
Uh-huh.
Let me ask you a question. And when did you start working on the film, and when did you stop? Do you remember that, or you want me to ask your mom?
I think I can recall.
Okay.
Well, I started around July, and I stopped like around January.
Okay. All right. Were you going to school at the same time?
Uh-huh.
Busy girl. Did you get all your homework done, or did your schoolwork suffer?
Oh, no.
Good.
It was better than ever.
Better than ever. I'm going to keep my eye on you, Miranda. Go ahead and have a sit. What's your last name, Miranda?
Bonilla.
Okay, Bonilla.
The dog had some seriously bad work. Is the plaintiff entitled to $5 grand? Judge Millian rules next.
And welcome back to the People's Court. Harvey Levin outside the Times Square Information Center. You saw the dog. You saw it before and after. Did this defendant botch the job?
Oh, yes, most definitely.
What's wrong with this dog? What's wrong with the repair job?
Too fake.
I mean, what specifically is wrong? The texture, you know.
It just didn't look real at all. It was terrible. It was like all messed up.
Who has the final word here? Who wants? You have the final word?
Roasted pig.
Roasted pig. Roasted pig. I like that. We're going inside the courtroom.
Even assuming that you actually have more scenes to shoot, if I order him to return back the $380, then you are in the exact same position you were in before the bad happened. The bottom line is that that dog went through something during that 1 year that caused you to need to have a repair, okay? So if I turn around and I put you in the position you were in beforehand by giving you that $400 back, then go get the repair somewhere else. All right. So, Mr. Pepe, I do not find any proof of an adequate repair that would be acceptable under the circumstances. I am not going to order you to pay him all these other costs for the whole continuity problem, because I don't believe, number one, I'm finding it hard to believe there was a continuity problem. I think the film was already shot. I don't think that he needed the dog for any more shoots. But if he did, then go get it repaired, just like the same position you were in beforehand. Go get it repaired by somebody else. Let's see if you can get it repaired for 400 bucks. But certainly you're entitled to get what you paid for, and if you didn't get $380 worth of repairs, then you shouldn't have to pay for $380. For the plaintiff in this case, $380.
Just hold on right there, please.
Well, Mr. Pepe comes out here a loser in this case. What do you think of the verdict here? $380 goes to him.
You know, it's just the way it's got to be. He paid for the repairs. I repaired it as best of my ability. The dog was trashed beyond repair. I gave him a good deal.
You're saying that he trashed?
I'm not saying that he did it, or I mean, I know he beat up the dog throughout the year that he
in
had
the movie.
it. And I tried to repair it as best I could.
You think when you repaired it, it was good enough to just put right back into the movie? Was it ready to go?
It wasn't supposed to be going back in a movie. He had made it just strictly for a prop now. It was supposed to be just memorabilia. He had told me that it was not about continuity. It wasn't about saving the movie.
Okay, all right. Documents are waiting for you right down that way. Okay, come on in here, right over here if you would, and turn around this way with, right there, Miranda. All right, you sued for $5,000 and you walk out with $380. You satisfied? Is that enough?
I'm happy because Miranda got to get some exposure to television.
Is that the only reason you came in here?
I came in here for justice, and I got justice because, you know, I paid for repairs, and I'm getting the money back that, you know.
Miss Miranda Bonilla, ladies and gentlemen. Harvey?
Okay, Kurt, the defendant said in the hallway that the dog was trashed beyond repair. Well, the fact is, then, he should not have taken on the job.